Tom Hargrove, broad-shouldered and unyielding as the Midwest winters he'd fled for this Spanish sun, crossed the room in 3 strides. His hands, calloused from decades fixing engines back in Cleveland, gripped her shoulders, not to shake, but to steady, as if she might shatter. "Emily, honey, this isn't you. It's a phase, a confusion. We'll fix it. I swear, we'll fix it." His voice cracked on the last word, and in that moment, Emily saw the boy he'd once been, terrified of losing the daughter he'd raised to be unbreakable. But unbreakable things bend first. That night, as the storm raged on, Tom sat alone in his study, the glow of his laptop screen illuminating stacks of yellowed family photos. He typed "Conversion Therapy Spain" into the search bar, his finger hovering like a guillotine. By dawn, he'd booked a flight, not for himself, but for her. To a clinic in the hills outside Madrid, whispered about in conservative expat circles as a place where lost girls found their way home. He told himself it was love. Emily, eavesdropping from the hallway, heard only betrayal. The Hargroves had come to Seville 5 years earlier, chasing Tom's dream of early retirement amid flamenco rhythms and olive groves. Emily, then 17 and already wrestling with the quiet storm inside her, had bloomed here like the bougainvillea choking their balcony. The city's labyrinthine streets, alive with the chatter of old women at market stalls and the distant strum of guitars, felt like permission to breathe. She'd enrolled at the University of Seville, majoring in literature, losing herself in Lorca's gypsy ballads and Hemingway's sun-baked expatriate tales. It was in a cramped café off Calle Feria, amid the steam of cortados and the scent of fresh churros, that she met Emilia. Emilia Ruiz was 23 then, a painter with ink-stained fingers and a laugh that cut through the din like sunlight through shutters. Born in the Barrio de Santa Cruz, she carried the weight of Andalusian fire in her veins, fierce, unapologetic, her canvases splashed with the raw ache of forbidden desires. "Art isn't about perfection," she'd say, dabbing ochre onto a canvas of 2 women entwined in a moonlit garden. "It's about the mess that makes us whole." Emily, nursing a bruised heart from a high school crush gone sour back stateside, had lingered too long at Emilia's table, drawn by the way her dark eyes seemed to see not just the surface, but the hidden rivers beneath. Their first kiss happened under a canopy of stars in the Alcazar Gardens, the air heavy with orange blossoms. Emily's heart thundered as Emilia's lips brushed hers, soft, tentative, then sure. "You're safe here," Emilia murmured against her mouth, and for the first time, Emily believed it. They spent stolen afternoons in Emilia's tiny studio, surrounded by half-finished portraits and the ghosts of Seville's lovers. Emilia taught her to mix pigments, to layer colors until they bled into truth. Emily read her Whitman and Plath, verses that wrapped around them like shared secrets. Love, in those early days, was a quiet revolution, hands intertwined under café tables, whispered, "Te quiero," in the hush of midnight alleys. But secrets have a way of unraveling. It started with a careless photo on Emily's Instagram, her and Emilia, cheeks flushed from sangria, arms looped like vines. Tom's like, a single thumbs down emoji, ignited the fuse. Dinners grew tense, the clink of forks on paella plates echoing unspoken accusations. "Who's that girl, Em?" he'd asked one evening, casual as loading the dishwasher. Emily's stomach had twisted. "Just a friend, Dad." The lie sat heavy, but so did the truth. Now, 3 weeks after the rain-soaked confession, Emily boarded the high-speed train to Madrid alone. Tom had framed it as a retreat, a week of reflection, therapy, spiritual guidance. "It's for your own good, kiddo. You'll thank me." His hug at the station was fierce, eyes wet with what he called resolve. Emilia had begged her not to go. "This isn't Spain, amor. This is poison dressed as help." But Emily, ever the pleaser, the daughter who'd alphabetized his toolbox since she was 10, went. For him. For the family she'd pieced together from Ohio's snow and Andalusian heat. The clinic squatted on a hillside like a forgotten monastery, its stone walls draped in ivy, overlooking valleys where almond trees clawed at the sky. Dr. Vargas, a wiry man with a mustache like a broom bristle, greeted her with a handshake too firm. We're here to uncover the root, Senorita Hargrove. Buried traumas, societal pressures, they twist the soul. Sessions blurred into a haze, group circles where women in starched blouses recited prayers for purity, one-on-one talks probing Emily's childhood like a dentist's drill. Tell me about your father, Vargas urged. Was he absent? Distant? Emily bit her lip. No. He was. Everything. Nights were the worst. Curled on a narrow cot, she traced the faint scar on her palm from a childhood bike crash. Tom had carried her 3 blocks to the ER, singing off-key show tunes to make her laugh. Now, that memory warred with the present, locked doors, mandatory affirmations, scrawled on mirrors, I am whole as God intended. She texted Amelia in stolen moments, fragments of desperation, miss you. This place smells like regret. Amelia's replies were lifelines, hold on, me lose. I'm coming for you. By day 4, cracks appeared. A fellow patient, Sophia, a quiet Catalan with haunted eyes, slipped Emily a crumpled note during lunch. It's not healing. It's erasure. They met in the garden after lights out, whispering under laurel trees. Sophia's story poured out, kicked out at 16, years of shame before finding a women's collective in Barcelona. They say it's love, but it's control. Run, Emily. Before it roots. That night, Emily dreamed of Amelia's studio, the scent of turpentine, the brush of fingers on canvas. She woke gasping, resolve hardening like drying oil paint. At breakfast, she confronted Vargas. This isn't fixing me. It's breaking what's already true. His smile was indulgent. Denial is the first stage, dear. But Emily was done denying. She slipped Sophia's note into her pocket, a map to a bus station, scrawled with defiance. The escape was clumsy, heart-pounding, a faint headache, a pilfered key from the laundry room. She ran down the hillside in the pre-dawn chill, lungs burning, the clinic's lights fading like dying embers. The bus to Seville rattled her bones, but freedom tasted like dust in dawn. She arrived at Amelia's door as the city stirred, pounding until it swung open. Amelia, hair wild from sleep, pulled her inside without a word, their embrace a dam breaking, sobs, kisses, the raw glue of survival. You came back, Amelia whispered, cupping Emily's face. Of course I did, Emily replied, voice steady for the first time in weeks. Because loving you isn't something to fix. It's the only thing that feels right. Seville welcomed her back with deceptive gentleness, the Guadalquivir river glinting like fool's gold under a merciless April sun. Emily and Amelia holed up in the studio for days, emerging only for bread and olives from the corner bodega. The world outside buzzed with Holy Week processions, hooded penitents shuffling in candlelit lines, incense curling like prayers unanswered. Inside, they rebuilt. Amelia's paints became their language, Emily's fingers learning to stroke bold strokes across canvas, mirroring the tentative reclaiming of her own skin. But shadows lengthen. Tom's texts arrived like clockwork. First concern, how was the retreat? Feeling clearer, then insistence, we need to talk, Em. Come home. Emily deleted them at first, but guilt is a persistent vine. Amelia saw it in the way she'd stare at her phone, thumb hovering. He's your father, Amelia said one evening, as they shared a bottle of Rioja on the fire escape. Blood doesn't erase love. It complicates it. Emily nodded, but complication felt like quicksand. The breaking point came mid-May, during Feria de Abril. The city erupted in polka-dot dresses and flower-crowned horses, fairgrounds thumping with sevillanas and the pop of corks. Emily and Amelia danced in the throng, skirts swirling, laughter bubbling free. For a stolen hour, Emily forgot, until Tom's voice cut through the crowd like a siren's wail. Emily. He stood at the edge of the caseta, disheveled in a linen suit, eyes scanning like a man who'd crossed deserts. How he'd found them, Emily never asked, Seville's expat grapevine, perhaps, or a hacked location ping. Amelia tensed beside her, hand slipping into Emily's. Tom approached, face a map of exhaustion, the lines deeper than Emily remembered. I had to see you. After the clinic called, said you left early. What happened? The music swelled, a fiddle's cry underscoring the ache. Revelers swirled past, oblivious. Dad, please. Not here. But Tom was undeterred, his voice rising over the din. This has to stop. That woman, he jabbed a finger at Amelia, who stiffened but held her ground. She's poisoning you. I talked to a specialist back home. Electroconvulsive, if needed. We can make this right. Amelia's gasp was a knife. Emily's world tilted. Electro, what? Dad, that's barbaric. You think shocking me will make me straight? Her voice cracked, drawing stares. Tom's face flushed, but his eyes pleaded. It's science, honey. Proven paths to normalcy. I can't watch you throw your life away. Normalcy. Amelia stepped forward, her accent thickening with fury. You call love a disease. I've seen your daughter's light dim because of you. She's not broken, she's blooming. And you want to prune her soul? The confrontation spilled into the street, away from the fiesta's roar. Tom followed, desperation morphing to anger. Who are you to lecture me? Some artist scraping by in this godforsaken heat. Emily's my blood. I'll do what's best. He grabbed Emily's arm, not hard, but insistent, pulling her toward a waiting taxi. We're going home. Now. Amelia lunged, wrenching his grip free. Basta. She's not a child. She's a woman who chooses me. The scuffle drew a crowd, murmurs rippling like wind through reeds. Emily wrenched away, chest heaving. Dad, stop. This isn't love. This is fear. Yours. He froze, hand outstretched, the taxi idling like a predator. For a heartbeat, the world held its breath. Then Tom sagged, the fight draining like sand through fingers. I want you happy, Em. Like before. His whisper was a confession, raw as an open wound. Emily's heart twisted, pity for the man who taught her to ride a bike, to parallel park, to believe in second chances. But this was the betrayal that scarred deepest, not the clinic, but the willingness to erase her for his comfort. Before was a lie, she said softly, stepping back into Amelia's orbit. This is me. And if you can't see that, maybe it's you who needs fixing. The taxi door slammed behind him as he retreated, tail lights blurring into the night. Amelia wrapped her in a shawl against the chill, but the cold was inside now, a frost Emily feared would never thaw. Summer unfurled like a fever dream. Emily threw herself into classes, dissecting Faulkner's Southern Gothic in sunlit lecture halls, finding echoes of her own fractured lineage. Amelia's latest exhibit, a series of portraits titled Races Rhodas, Broken Roots, hung in a Triana gallery, each canvas a testament to love severed by tradition. Emily's face stared out from one, eyes fierce amid swirling siennas and umbers, titled La Hija del Exilio. Opening night was a whirlwind, critics in linen suits sipping vermouth, whispers of audacious and heart-wrenching. Emily stood beside Amelia, hand in hers, a quiet anchor amid the applause. Yet Tom's silence gnawed. No calls, no emails, just a single postcard from Madrid, a generic, thinking of you, on the back of a Goya etching. Emily's mother, Laura, broke radio silence in July, her voice tinny over WhatsApp. Your father's struggling, Em. Lost 10 pounds. Talks about you non-stop. Guilt clawed anew. Laura, ever the mediator with her yoga-toned calm and essential oils, urged reconciliation. He's scared, honey. Of losing you. Come for his birthday. Neutral ground. Amelia opposed it fiercely. He'll twist the knife again. Why bleed for someone who won't staunch the wound? But Emily, raised on olive branches and optimism, saw shades of gray. He's still Dad. And I miss the parts that weren't poison. They compromised, a coffee in a public plaza, Amelia waiting across the square like a sentinel. The birthday fell on a sweltering August afternoon, the plaza alive with street performers juggling fire. Tom arrived early, nursing an Americano, his frame slimmer, eyes shadowed. "You look good, kiddo," he said, voice gruff. Emily slid into the chair opposite, nerves jangling. "Thanks. You don't." Small talk stuttered, weather, her grades, the latest Real Madrid scandal. Then, the pivot, about Feria. "I was wrong." Panicked. "But the clinic." "No." Emily cut him off, firm as the fountain spray. "That wasn't panic. That was a plan to rewrite me." Tom's jaw tightened. "I researched. It's helped people." "People?" Amelia's voice sliced in, she'd crossed the square unbidden, drawn by instinct. "Or prisoners. Your daughter isn't a project, Senor Hargrove. She's a person." Tom bristled, but his retort died at the fire in Amelia's gaze. For the first time, he really looked at her, not as intruder, but as ally. "You love her," he stated, not questioned. "With everything," Amelia replied, unyielding. "The way you should." The air thickened, charged as a storm front. Tom rubbed his temples, exhaling like a man surfacing. I called the clinic director. Demanded my deposit back. And I read books, not blogs. This book is gay, Audre Lorde. It scared the hell out of me, realizing how much I'd missed. Emily's throat closed. Betrayal's echo lingered, but so did hope's fragile thread. "Why now?" she asked, voice small. "Because losing you isn't an option." "Not really." He reached across the table, palm up. Emily hesitated, then clasped it, warm, familiar, trembling. Amelia watched, a soft smile breaking through, her hand finding Emily's knee under the table. Reconciliation wasn't linear. Fall brought fits and starts, awkward family dinners where Tom overcompensated with vegan paella, Emily's influence, and stilted questions about Amelia's art. Amelia, cautious as a cat in new territory, kept her barbs sheathed, but her eyes spoke volumes. "For you, I'll try." Emily mediated, her strength forged in the clinic's forge, bending without breaking. Yet conflict simmered beneath. Tom's old friends, expats from the American club, with their golf handicaps and Fox News feeds, whispered. One evening, over tapas, a ruddy-faced accountant named Bill cornered Tom. "Heard about your girl. Tough break. Ever think of that ranch in Texas? They do wonders." Tom's response was a slammed fist on the table, scattering almonds. "My daughter's not a tough break. She's my pride. And if you can't handle that, find another bar." Word spread. Invites dried up, golf games turned tense. Tom confided in Emily one crisp November walk along the river. "They're the ones who need fixing, not you." It was the closest he'd come to apology, and it landed like rain on parched earth. As winter crept in, with its chill winds off the Sierra Morena, Emily and Amelia's love deepened into something architectural, foundations of trust, walls of shared silences. They planned a trip to Ronda, to the Puente Nuevo's dizzying bridge, whispering of futures, Emily's thesis on queer voices in Spanish lit, Amelia's dream gallery in New York. "We'll make our own America," Amelia joked, invoking Emily's homesick tales of apple pie and autumn leaves. Emily laughed, but in her core, strength bloomed, not the unyielding steel Tom had envisioned, but a resilient weave, threads of pain and passion intertwined. Christmas arrived in Seville like a reluctant guest, strings of lights draping the Gothic spires of the cathedral, markets hawking marzipan and mulled wine. The Hargrove apartment, once a shrine to Midwestern minimalism, now bristled with Amelia's touches, a hand-painted ornament of two doves, a poinsettia from the Triana flower stalls. Tom invited them both for Noche Buena, his voice on the phone laced with forced joviality. Whole family, right? No more half measures. Emily arrived with Amelia in tow, a bottle of manzanilla under one arm, nerves a live wire. Laura enveloped them in hugs scented with lavender, her eyes bright with unshed relief. The table groaned under jamon iberico and gambas al ajillo, candlelight flickering like hesitant confessions. Conversation danced, light at first, tales of Tom's botched attempt at Turin, Laura's new pottery class. Then, the pivot, inevitable as the tide. Tom cleared his throat, fork paused mid-air. I've been thinking. About us. The clinic, Feria, all of it. I was wrong, Dead wrong. Tried to fix you because I couldn't fix my own fears. The room stilled, save the distant carols from the street. Amelia's hand found Emily's under the table, a silent breathe. Emily nodded, throat tight. I know, Dad. And it hurt. Like hell. He met her gaze, unflinching. I deserve that. Read more, joined an online group for parents. Straight allies, they call it. It's humbling. A ghost of a smile. One dad shared his kid's coming out letter. Made me cry like a baby. Yours wasn't a letter, but it was a gift. One I almost threw away. Amelia shifted, her voice measured. Words are easy, senor. Actions. Tom nodded, turning to her fully for the first time. Fair. So here's action, I told Bill and the club to shove it. And I'm donating to that collective Sophia mentioned. The one for queer youth in Barcelona. Emily's eyes widened, Sophia, her clinic whisperer, now a thread pulling them forward. You remember her name. Couldn't forget. Tom's grin was sheepish, the boy peeking through again. Laughter broke the tension, fragile but real, as they clinked glasses. To messes, Laura toasted, and mending them. The meal stretched into stories, Emily recounting her escape down the hillside, Amelia demonstrating a flamenco step that nearly toppled the tree. For the first time, the apartment felt porous, Ohio's stoicism softened by Andalusian warmth, borders blurring like watercolor edges. But drama, that old specter, wasn't done. New Year's Eve brought the call, Tom's sister, Aunt Marlene, flying in from Akron unannounced. A widow with a tongue like a switchblade and views forged in Reagan's fire, she cornered Emily in the kitchen amid the clatter of kava corks. Your father's losing his mind, letting this phase run wild. It's unnatural, Emily. Sinful. Her whisper was venom, eyes darting to ensure privacy. Emily's blood iced. Aunt Marlene, it's not. Save it. I saw the photos. That Spanish girl. She's leading you astray. The betrayal stung fresh, family, again, as battlefield. Amelia, overhearing from the hall, entered like a storm. Leading? No. Loving. And if that's sin, then paint me damned. Marlene recoiled, clutching her pearls. Tom. Your houseguest is hysterical. Tom appeared, face thunderous. That's my future daughter-in-law you're slandering, Marlene. Out. Now. The words hung, seismic. Marlene sputtered, but Tom's stance, unmovable as the Giralda Tower, brooked no argument. She stormed off into the night, fireworks bursting overhead like ironic applause. In the aftermath, as confetti rained, Tom pulled Emily aside on the balcony. Didn't mean to overstep. The daughter-in-law bit. Emily's laugh was watery. You meant it, though. And thanks. He hugged her then, fierce and final, the rain of that first confession a distant memory. You're stronger than I ever was, kid. That's the fix I didn't see coming. Spring 2026 dawned with renewal. Emily defended her thesis to thunderous approval, her paper weaving Lorca's Duende with Baldwin's fire, a love letter to hybrid hearts. Amelia's gallery show in Madrid sold out, critics hailing her as the voice of modern Andalusia's hidden pulses. They moved into a larger flat in Macarena, walls echoing with plans, a summer road trip to the Costa Brava, whispers of commitment ceremonies under olive trees. Tom evolved too, in fits. He joined a local PFLAG chapter, expats and locals mingled over coffee, sharing war stories of acceptance. One evening, he showed up at their door with a dog-eared copy of Fun Home, Alison Bechdel's graphic memoir. "Your mom made me read it. Blew my circuits." They spent the night dissecting panels, Tom's questions earnest, Emily's answers a bridge rebuilt plank by plank. Climax crested in June, during Pride. Seville's march snaked through the old town, rainbows clashing gloriously with Moorish arches. Emily and Amelia walked hand in hand, Tom's arm looped through Laura's behind them, a family quartet amid the sea of flags. Chants rose, Amor sin barreras. Love without barriers. At the plaza finale, speeches thrummed with tales of struggle and triumph. When a young activist called for parental allies to stand, Tom surprised them all, stepping to the makeshift stage. "I'm Tom Hargrove," he boomed, voice steady despite the mic feedback. "American transplant, former fool. Tried to fix my lesbian daughter once, sent her to hell disguised as help. Nearly lost her. Nearly lost myself." Murmurs rippled, Emily's heart swelled, tears blurring the crowd. "But she fixed me. Showed me strength isn't in conformity, it's in loving fierce, flaws and all." To every parent listening, don't wait for the storm. Join the rainbow. Applause crashed like waves. Emily rushed the stage, burying her face in his shoulder. "Proud of you, Dad." Amelia joined, a three-way embrace amid cheers, a tableau of mended fractures. The year waned into autumn gold, leaves carpeting the Plaza de España like forgotten confetti. Emily and Amelia married in a civil ceremony at the Ayuntamiento, vows exchanged in bilingual whispers, "In your eyes, I find home." Tom walked Emily down the aisle, short as it was, his handkerchief dabbing at shared tears. "You became strong," he murmured, "exactly as you were meant to." In the end, strength wasn't a solitary forge, but a shared hearth. Emily, once bent by betrayal, stood tall in the weave of loves, fierce Amelia's passion, Tom's hard-won grace, the city's eternal pulse. Seville, with its secrets and scars, had taught her, some fixes are illusions, true wholeness blooms in the unpruned wild. And so, under a sky bruised with sunset, they walked into forever, not fixed, but free.